I choose to let you in. I love you, I trust you, I will obey the words you say. I love you, I trust you, I will obey the words. All right, thank you. If you jumped on here live, hey, what's happening? So thank you for bearing with me while I went live on YouTube, because we know on Facebook that these lives only stay up for 30 days and then they're deleted. So today is August 17th, and I'm going to read through Proverbs chapter 17. And I actually took some notes, y'all. Listen. My homeschool mentor, so I have been homeschooling my daughter for the past 4 or 5 years. And so she just recently went to high school. And I'm praying that she won't like it, so she'll come back home to be homeschooled. So my homeschool mentor, she reads Proverbs today. And today she really just really touched my heart today with the Proverbs 17. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on reading Proverbs 17. And I'm going to share some things, maybe from what I heard her say, or just some things that come up in my heart to speak on at this moment. And then I also pointed out things I did want to speak on from reading Proverbs 17. So with that, no further ado, I'll go ahead and begin reading Proverbs 17 from the Message version of the Bible. All right. Proverbs 17, verse 1. A meal of bread and water is contented peace. A meal of bread and water in contented peace is better than a banquet spiced with quarrels. A wise servant takes charge of an unruly child and is honored as one of the family. As silver in a crucible and gold in pan, so our lives are refined by Yah. Evil people relish malicious conversation. The ears of liars itch for dirty gossip. Whoever mocks poor people insults their creator. Gloating over misfortune is a punishable crime. Old people are distinguished by grandchildren. Children take pride in their parents. Oh, that is my prayer. That is so why I just am committed to getting up, reading these Proverbs so we could train our children with wisdom and train them in the way that they should go, that they take pride in us being their parents. Verse 7, we don't expect eloquence from fools, nor do we expect lies from our leaders. I'll just come back to that one. Highlight. Yeah, well then. So verse 8, receiving a gift is like getting a rare gemstone. Any way you look at it, you see beauty refracted. Overlook an offense and bond a friendship. Fasten on to a slight and goodbye friend. A quiet rebuke to a person of good sense does more than a whack on the head of a fool. Criminals out looking for nothing but trouble won't have to wait long. They'll meet it coming and going. Better to meet a grizzly bear robbed of her cubs than a fool hell-bent on folly. Verse 13, those who return evil for good will meet their own evil returning. The start of a quarrel is like a leak in a dam, so stop it before it bursts. Whitewashing bad people and throwing mud on good people are equally abhorrent to Yah. What's this? Fools out shopping for wisdom? They wouldn't recognize it if they saw it. Verse 17, friends love through all kinds of weather, and families stick together in all kinds of trouble. It's stupid to try to get something for nothing or run up huge bills that you can never pay. The person who courts sin marries trouble. Build a wall, invite a burglar. A bad motive can achieve a good end.
Double talk brings you double trouble. Mm. Double talk brings you double trouble. Verse 21, having a fool for a child is misery. It's no fun being a parent of adults. Mm. A cheerful disposition is good for your health. Gloom and doom leave you bone tired. The wicked take bribes under the table. They show nothing but contempt for justice. Verse 24, the prospective find wisdom in their own front yard. Fools look for it everywhere but right here. A surely stupid child is sure pain to a father, a bitter pill for a mother to swallow. It is wrong to penalize good behavior or make good citizens pay for the crimes of others. Verse 27, the one who knows much says little. An understanding person remains calm. Even dunces who keep quiet are thought to be wise. As long as they keep their mouths shut, they're smart. Mm. So that concludes the reading of Proverbs chapter 7, verses 1 through 28. So good, y'all. So my reason for getting up reading this is just for us to establish a habit of waking up early, getting in this word, so that we're doing our due diligence, right, to seek all the wisdom and spend that time alone with Yah. So then we can go ahead and carry on with our day, waking up our children, whether we homeschool or we send them to school. Today is the first day of the week. So if you've been following me and listening for the week, last Sunday, I put a challenge to compliment your children and train your um, children to compliment us as parents. So I want to know if you participated, if you did that, how did it go? Um, yeah. So if you aren't in the Parenting for Proverbs group, or if you are in the group, I would like to see your comments in regards to what was your biggest takeaway for today? Like, what, like, really, really, like, touched your heart today? What was your biggest takeaway? So, some of the notes that I had gleaned from Proverbs, from this Proverbs, right, from verse. Let me go back up. What was it? I wrote some notes and didn't write down the verses that inspired me from this. Okay, verse 21. Having a fool for a child is misery. It's no fun being the parent of adults, right? So when we raise our children, right? Because sometimes children can just not get it. Like, it's like, is somebody up there? Are you listening? Right? And so how do we interact with our children when we feel like they're not listening? I told you 100 times, right? So I think our tone and our attitude, right? Because one of the fruits of the spirit is being patient, right? Being kind, being understanding, right? And definitely, we know if our children have a flaw, I would just encourage you, like I'm learning myself, just to pray and trust Yah to just ask me for the wisdom, Father, to get your child that you gave me in line, right? So just praying for a divine set apart strategy to get our children to act right, to do right, and to believe right. So, and then like us always communicating that unconditional love, like no matter what they do, um, love. And it's like how love comes across, right? If our tone of voice, if we're loud, we're frustrated and yelling at children, at parents, that's when they feel unloved, because the point of discipline is to correct them. And we're to correct them gently, not harshly, and to make sure we're explaining to them and teaching them. Right. And it is a work in progress, I'll tell you, having a teen daughter, right? Because we could know sometimes when they get that age, right? the joy of being a parent becomes joyless, right? And so that's why one of the things I really want to do is like build community and support parents during these times, when our children are teens and beyond, to where they get adults, and how we can interact with them, right? When they're making decisions and whatnot, that we didn't train them to make certain decisions, since certain lifestyles, and just us loving the word, loving the wisdom, and choosing to live a lifestyle according to biblical principles, right? And then we train our children that, and when they make decisions contrary to that, it becomes very challenging and emotionally challenging. And we really have to, this is where I think of like it takes a village. And a lot of times, with me being a single mother, right, it's just like sometimes the village isn't there, and all I have is the Most High God. So, yeah, I just really loved verse 21. It really got me. Um, yeah, just really touched my heart. Let me see another verse. Verse 2, it says, "A wise servant takes charge of an unruly child and is honored as one of the family." So it's just like when you have an unruly child, like you really need help, right? Whether you have servants in this day, we just don't have servants, but it's important to have community, right? Neighborhood, family members, mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, just to really step in and be that village with that child. So, um, yeah, I'll just summarize and give three quick main points for Proverbs 17, because I feel like this chapter really emphasizes the value of peace, integrity, and self control within the family. And it kind of highlights, like, if you reread and listen to this again, it really highlights how wisdom is seen in not just in words, but in actions, especially in how we handle conflict, discipline, and relationships, right? So this is teaching us, like, that a peaceful home, right, with love is more valuable than wealth, more valuable, um, and that character, right, is refined through challenges, and that a foolish or dishonest tongue can destroy trust. And what we can really glean if we're reading these chapters with our children, right, for Proverbs 17, that this chapter points out honesty, humility, and guarding their speech, right, and just cherishing unity in the family. So, verse 1, we can teach our children that love, respect, and peace at home are more important than material possessions, right? A harmonious family in this life is worth far more than riches. And verse 1 um, really reminds us of that. A meal of bread and water and peace is better than a banquet spiced with quarrels, right? You really want to have unity. We don't want to be fighting, right? And then I think the King James version uses strife, right? Better is a dry crust with peace and quiet than a house full of feasting with strife, right? So just me growing up, right? I had 6 siblings, right? And so it was a lot of chaos. I had 4 brothers and 1 sister. And so, um, and then I have 4 children. So it's just really important to have that peace and harmony and just the love on our children unconditionally, right? Because they get their direction and guidance for us. So we have to show up as peaceful, and so we can be an example of peace. And Yeah, I think that's all I want to say about that. So the second thing, so that was the first thing, just really us learning to value peace over um, money and riches, right? Because family is priceless. And number two is just to really guard our words and our actions, right? Um, verse 28, it says, even fools are thought wise if they keep silence, and discerning if they hold their tongues. Again, I was Proverbs 17, verse 28. And so just us really thinking before we speak and guiding our children to think before they speak. That's a good practice of self-control. And then us, using our words to build each other up instead of tearing each other down. Criticism is one thing, and then constructive criticism is another thing, right? So we want to be able to compliment. And if you've been doing that, or if you just not catching me and meeting me and hearing me, take this week and be intentional about complimenting your children and letting them know to compliment you. Hey, thanks for making dinner. Thanks for dropping me off at school. Thanks for doing this. It's just expressing that gratitude. And I mentioned that before, like doing a gratitude journal together as a family. That really sets the tone for the moment, for the day. You can do it for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. But it's really important to really guard and be intentional about our words and our actions. And those are two like very important actions that I do in my family that just really it shifts some things, y'all. It shifts some things. So just do gratitude journals together and compliment each other. So the third thing is just really, really want to say show compassion and walk in integrity, because I've been 16 before, I've been 24 before, I've been 30 before. But my children, this is their first time experiencing things at those ages. So me just really, really praying for them, not telling them what to do, what I would do all the time, is just showing compassion and empathy for what they're going through. Um, so verse 6 says, children's children are crowned to the age, and parents are the pride of their children. So, um, in a sense, our children are a reflection of us, right? And then I don't have any grandchildren, right? Um, to say children's children are crowned to the age, right? And so I really want to get this wisdom now, so that day that I do become a grandmother, right? That I am just radiating this wisdom, to my grandchildren. Um, and so that's it. That's all. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today. My apologies if this was way too long, but all right. Well, I look forward to you all joining me tomorrow. If you can't join me live at 7 o'clock a.m., definitely watch the replay. Comment, like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. You can join the Facebook group Parenting Through Proverbs. Alrighty then, take care. I leave you in peace as I came to you with peace with the ancient Hebrew word for peace. Shalom, shalom.